Tumsifu Yesu Kristo.
Milele.
Sasa hicho Kiingereza chake na Kiswahili chake kinakaaje? Tumsifu Yesu Kristo milele, amina. Si ndio? Hii ni jamii ya walioelimika, si ndio? Milele, amina. Milele na milele, amina hiyo mtotoro. Sasa kuna kitu nataka niseme. Praise the Lord ni sawa na tumsifu Yesu Kristo. So milele, amina tunasema now and forever. Sijui kama mtasahau tena. Praise the Lord. Now and forever.
Praise the Lord.
Yes. Msifu Yesu Kristo.
Amen.
Milele, amina. Okay, I'm called here just for one thing. I know others have talked so much and many things. Now we are going to the issue. Now the launching of the program. I mean of the 40 days. On how we are going to live these 40 days. Spreading through 5 weeks. And for that we have heard of reconciliation. But before I begin, just in a clip of some seconds, reconciliation, then you forgive. But what are we reconciling? What you have forgiven, isn't it? Or it's something else? It's what you have forgiven, isn't it? But now, we are all Africans. If I see here, I'm not seeing anybody from the Western world. There is an aspect which is a bit left hanging, and which take us of always. And this is what? In Africa, there is what we call restoration. Because there now is when now, once you restore, then you come back to the normal. It is part of what you have just said. You forgive, you reconcile, but how do you restore back? The ICT managers just given the restoration of given example of those ones because they had to call back, do 1, 2, 3. I think it was more than reconciling. They went to another level, a higher level of what? Restoring back. So the same thing to the way I think Christ did. He restored us back to the original state. Isn't it? Yeah. So now, these 40 days, I'm not going to explain that a slide because it is part. It's what we are seeing in our communications in the various areas. Here is still the same and is biblical at 2 Corinthians 5:18. That is reconciled by God, one in Christ, called to reconciliation. It means that we are reconciled back to God because everything we have is from God. We are of God. And we are enjoying the creations, the creations of various types of creations. And from this time, also, it's good to distinguish. I know we all know the 7 days of creation. But now, also when I reflect more deeply on these 7 days, because we are speaking of reconciled by God in Christ, there are 4 things which always come to me. That is the 4 stages of creation. And it means that reconciling, we are reconciling with the 4 without losing our role as human beings. One stage is the creation of non-living things. It means in terms of stones, the soil and everything. Though in science, but also the stones also need. But let us see it more spiritually. The second one is the creation of the life of plants. That's the second. And the third, which Father explained very well, the last stage, creation of the life of animals. That's the third stage. And the last stage is our creation of a human being. That is now uniting the ones of this one, the material and the spiritual world. And then we are the image, the reflection of the two. And for us now, we are to co-create with Him, but we messed it up. I don't want to go to that history. But now how we are going to go through, because it's a historical event, at the same time it is also living one. Week 1, which is beginning from the week 1, from next Sunday, is majoring on reconciliation. This is what our spiritual fathers want us to reflect on, the name of our KCCB. And here the main focus, we shall focus on the ways in which human acts accelerate injustice. Because now we are going to the realities, to come to the realities on ground. What are these things which are accelerating injustice? Human acts which are accelerating injustices. And when I speak of human acts here, we have to differentiate from the acts of man. Human acts are those ones with full knowledge and will. We know what we are doing. And we take into account all its objective, its intention, and even the circumstance as a human act. Then you need to deliberately know that you are being unfair to your brother, to your sister, or to the other creations of God. We are not treating them fairly. So that's what we mean. The acts that accelerate injustices. And one of it is greed and exclusion. It means everything you think you are the best, the rest are just, you just use them. I give you the example of the way we use a toilet paper. It's only in need when you need it. After you flush it with the rest. So now it's not to go to interior of ourselves or the greed. And because of that, it yields to conflicts. It yields to mistrust. It yields to selfishness. Mistrust. The ICT portal manager said, "We forgive you. For sure, you are really giving us headache." If we are really, not only to the students, I think even the staff. Sometimes when you want to enter the marks, you enter them from midnight in the morning, you find them, they are nowhere seen. All night, now the students are on your neck. The administration is all. But then I'm just making fun. Mistrust. So we have to work hard to make sure that we win back that trust. Now, solution, what do we do? What do we do? Solution. We have, when we are making such decisions, which we think they affect the whole community, there are those major decisions, then there need to be some involvement, a certain level as we continue. And in that way, even if it fails, at least we understand. But keeping quiet, then how do we do it? It goes through regular dialogue. Regular dialogue. And then, when we go a bit outside on politics, our politics ought to focus on effective and shaping our common destiny as a nation. Taking into account here, our university is more than what you may think. It's not only a holding Kenyan community. It has a status of an international university. And if it has a status of an international of an international community, it means what? As you are focusing, of course, with the main context, taking care of this where we are, at the same time also without excluding the rest. And I think those are the main, when we are doing the reconciliation now, we have to check on those areas, on how we focus and on what to do, greed, exclusion, solution, decision-making, dialogue, and then the way we do our politics. We go to week 2. So, week 2 we shall be majoring on mental wellness. Mental wellness. If we observe in our society, here in Kenya, if you listen to the news, you hardly finish the whole hour of news, either KTN, Citizen, Nation, whatever channel you may be watching, without getting a challenge of hearing somebody has killed the whole family, hearing some cases of murder, suicide, the whole news cannot get finished. It reached a time where I was fed up when listening to the news. I now have to open to international channels because is killing, family violence, what. These are the signs of what? Mental wellness or illnesses. So the cases of mental illness are on the rise. And not only in our country here in Kenya where we are now, no. Uganda, Tanzania, Malawi, Msumbiji, or Mozambique. Mention any country, we have this challenge. And currently, we have these ones who have even mental disordered persons. That is the LGBTQ, homosexuals. Those are sick people, by the way. Because they are mental, there's something wrong. You scientists may know. Something wrong because it's the opposite. It's a sin contrary to yourself. I mean, it's a sin against yourself. It's like killing yourself. It's self-elimination. So they have this challenge of mental illness. I don't think I can demonstrate more than that. But now, what are the contributing factors to this? Economic hardships. For instance, when you go to the Downs of Mount, there is that group of homosexuals, like the LGBT community. Those who drive the big big one, and they make a lot of noise when they are passing, they are polluting the air always. Some of them, they are in that community. Mostly they stay those kinds of area there. And when you go to the background of these who are involved, there is some economic aspect. There are some economic aspects. So, economic hardships, changing family dynamics. Currently, we talk of single families. I don't know if family can be single. I don't know. Unless it is those, if you are married, then the wife passes the on, or the husband is understood. But in the real circumstance, speaking of a single family, is a sign of mental illness. Yeah. Yeah, because you are raising this child, half back, yes. And then if you are comfortable in that state, then I think you better visit a psychiatric to help you to understand yourself better. Yes. So, coming to intense secular values, whereby they draw people to pleasure, consumerism, and a sweeping sense of hopelessness among especially young people and families. That is intense secular values. And all these then drive people into anxiety and depression, resulting in murders and suicides. So that is the work of the second week. As researchers, the status of an international university, we think of that challenge. We are having children, students coming from such background. Sometimes even we staff come from such an environment. We have to know how to handle ourselves using all the skills we have so as to be able to build a better society. At the end of the 40 days, then we reconcile well and we have a health society. Now, what's the role of the church on this? The mother church wants us to strengthen good relationships, that is, health relationships. To some extent, shall be able to handle the issue of mental illnesses. Now, where now do we do it? In our neighborhoods, the first presenter, Madam Sarah, I've not forgotten the name because I'm not used to it. Yeah. Our neighborhoods, places of work, and interactive spaces is what we should check on, should focus on. Those are the areas we should focus on. And then also to work together. Even the way we are, for me, I'm really enriched by those who have been sharing together your experiences, the dean of the School of Nursing, the computer science department, now the ICT. That's how we share and we are able to overcome and to strengthen the unity we have. And in one way or the other, we shall have improved or solved the issue. From after discussing that and reflecting on that, we shall go to the third week. These are major issues. Just quick review. When we get the books, we will go to the details. The third week, we are focusing on youth. And what are we looking at? Because youth is a whole huge thing. It's an ocean of its own. That is the hope of our society. Youth, the hope of our society. Now, majority of us seated here, maybe with a few who are here, we are above 40. I think so, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. The rest perhaps is below the young ones. Now we question ourselves. Here we are seated, and it is a university prayer day. This one is going to touch us directly. If it touches you negatively, I'm sorry for that. But when we check now in Europe, you see the churches are only full of old people. The young ones are in the stadiums of football, Chelsea, wrestling. But in the church, they come when they are very old. That's the Western society. Now here, I and you, majority of us may be above 40. But the young ones we teach who are supposed to be here with us, how many are they? The youth, our hope. Can you raise up the hand, the students? The stuff we can check. It's sometimes so good to face the realities because I'm part of you, so I'm also a lecturer, adjunct lecturer, yes. But the ones we are teaching, how far, which role have we played to make sure that they love the church also? If not, we are still heading on the same, because our role also is key, and we give direction. And if they don't come, why? Is what we should ask ourselves. Are we really doing the right thing or not the right thing? I don't know. But why? And if not, perhaps if this program was not there, at this hour, they all be in the whole lecture halls, isn't it? They will all be there. But when it comes to prayer, you only see few, and you come from a very good Christian background or a prayerful background. Are we doing anything as a parent? Do you think there is a problem? And when we speak of youth, the hope of our society, are they really hope? Huh? It's the question we should put ourselves. At least the few of you here, we are not condemning you. We are very happy that perhaps you are sold a drop in the sea can be less than. Isn't it? Yeah, that this will be add. Perhaps will help us. Next year, we shall have such. Perhaps we expect all this value to be full. Is us to reflect on that. How are we going to have that youth as our hope in our society? Then, positive social change ought to be there. It means that our bishops have realized that it's more negative than positive. So we have the positive social change brought by the youthful age, that is, desire to make the world a better place to live in. How do we make this world a better place to live in? By the skills we are impacting, or by the knowledge we are learning in our institutions. Because education, I believe, is to help me to improve where I come from, the environment, the challenges. But is it really doing so? Is what we should question now and reflect on these 40 days. Because we are reconciling. Yeah, reconciling. Because even Christ healed by using the things of nature. That's why sometimes some challenges he picks mud from the soil, it smells, isn't it? You wash, you see. You could not just say, you go, and you will see. No, it could be also used in nature to heal some sicknesses. So there are so many examples. And for us also, our knowledge, how are we using it to address the challenges our society is facing? Especially then helping our youth, that they may become the hope we desire to see. The second point here, then how do we start? Such people start to seek justice and peace from a tender age. And then that once they start that, then we are able to see everyone around as a fellow human beings, regardless of tribe, race, and social status. But not see to what they can get from you. Because currently, the relationships are more materialistic than human. Yes. I only relate to the lecturer because I know if I mess up the relationship, it will not make me pass, so I fear. But removing that one from me, once I have done with your post with you, when I meet you tomorrow, it's as if I don't know you even. And even if I'm driving maybe a V8 for you and you have a small thing, I will even accelerate that you may not know that I was your student. You see that? It means that I was here in the university, I only loved you because you are giving me the skills, isn't it? But the human values are just at periphery. So it's a thing more than what you may see. Now, with the constant prayer, then how do we handle that? Is with the constant prayer, any young person can change a situation from bad to peaceful one. We can also change from them. We can help them to change. It depends how one plays the role he has. Week 4. About economic injustices. Or economic justice, we say it. Now, most citizens, when they check, begin with our country. Like if we were watching the news of yesterday regarding the opposition of the camp of Raila and the sitting president, I don't need to repeat what it was reported, but you can see how economic situation is hitting them hard. So most citizens are hardworking. We know that. Ready to work long hours to ensure a living. Long hours, but most of them are underpaid. A good example I always give, because also at our seminary there where I live, we have these guards. When you ask them, we always write for them a check of 25 per month. We take to the company. But when you sit with these guards, you ask them how they are paid. Others is 7,000 per month, others is 8, others is 9, depends with the company. Do we think that one is right? Are we doing anything on that? They are working hard, but underpaid, and nobody is talking for them. We reflect on that. Economic justice. So, besides that, we have a huge wasted resource that is in form of educated but unemployed young women and men. We have so many are graduating but not educated. But not employed. Sometimes I ask myself with this concept when I meet even with the students in the class, I ask, are we really educated or we are miseducated? Because once I finish, I expect to be creative and innovative. But it's not happening. Am I really being educated or I am being miseducated? Economic justice on the area of education. Taking the needs of the time. We are living the fourth industrial revolution. What are the needs? Is what I'm getting from the class addressing the needs of what I'm required to be or not? Life is not better. That's what I ask. We have huge wasted resource, especially human resource. Universities are graduating. There are so many graduating every year, thousands. But is life becoming better? Don't know. We ask ourselves, why is the cost of living rising daily? Why? Why? Why are many citizens finding it difficult to make ends meet? Why? These are hard questions, my dear brothers and sisters. Then what should we do? We ought to interrogate the way we run our economy. We have to interrogate the way we run our economy. An example of our country, Kenya, regarding devolution has given many people hope. Yet, it needs to be strengthened. And the reason for the poor performance of our economy, as the bishop was saying, is because of what? I mean, and the massive borrowing is down to, I mean, it's due to our values, is what he's saying in the brief. Our value systems. Now, we are asked a set of values determine how it is to be used. One of the challenges why we have the poor performance, it means that the value system is deteriorating. And then, if we have a solution, then we have to work on our value systems, that is human value systems. And for here, the value systems may begin with our university. What are our core values? Then we may ask as a Cuea community. These ones are very clear. We know them, isn't it? Eh? We know them, the values. That is witness of prayer. I mean, witness of life, prayer, truthfulness, honest, excellence, commitment, and competence. Those are the values which may have helped us. Now, as a country where we are living, that is Constitution 2010 on national value system. What are the values there? The national value and the principles of governance include what? The only way we can make these values livable, live them, then the economic justice will be addressed. I may just mention them quickly. We have patriotism, national unity, sharing and devolution of power, the rule of law, democracy and the participation of the people, human dignity, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, non-discrimination, and protection of the marginalized, good governance, integrity, transparency, and accountability, and sustainable development. So once we live those values, then we will have addressed the challenge of economic hardships in one way or the other. And in that, we become a blessing. And once we become a blessing to one another, before I conclude with week 5, there is this song. Because once we live those values, as I said, we have the Cuea community values, those core values. We have the country we are living in, the values enshrined in our constitution. We become a blessing. It means that, and this blessing I'm speaking here is a blessing in 3 levels too. Blessing to yourself, blessing to your neighbor, and a blessing to the nation. Once we live by that. Now, the song goes like this. First you say, I am a blessing wherever I go. You say that.
I am a blessing wherever I go.
Actually, even if you say by demonstration, because you see the chairs are too comfortable. So we make them also not to be a bit comfortable. Eh? I am a blessing. You see the way I'm putting it? I am a blessing wherever I go. Yes. Just put it in we are not writing this one. This one we just write it by heart. I am a blessing wherever I go. Yes. Once we leave those values. Then you tell your friend, you are a blessing wherever you go. And your friend tell you,
You are a blessing wherever you go.
yes, once more. You are a blessing wherever you go. Yes. Yeah. But only when you live those values. Yes. And the third stanza is we are blessings wherever we go. Like that. We are a blessing wherever we go. Yes. Now the song goes like this. I am a blessing wherever I go. I am a blessing wherever I go. There you go.
I am a blessing wherever I go. I am a blessing
wherever I go. Now, see, you know the whole song already. Simple. My professor of music did it well, I think, Professor Yamit. taught me music for a good 10 years. May his soul rest in peace.
Amen.
So now, we sing it also. You are going to demonstrate. I am a blessing wherever I go. I am a blessing wherever I go. Did we go?
I am a blessing wherever I go. I am a blessing wherever I go.
Now you are telling your friend,
You are a blessing wherever you go. You are a blessing wherever you go. We are a blessing wherever we go. We are a blessing wherever we go.
Now I'm going to demonstrate more now. Let's make it because you already know the song. I am a blessing wherever I go. I am a blessing wherever I go. When you can start. Now we begin.
I am a blessing wherever I go. I am a blessing wherever I go. You are a blessing wherever you go. You are a blessing wherever you go. We are a blessing wherever we go. We are a blessing wherever we go.
Now we are going to clap in the slide. Who wants to do with me demonstration here? Come here, we go together. Yes. Who is comfortable? When nobody is comfortable, you clap. Anyone, MC is okay. Anyone is comfortable. Yes. Yes. I am. We begin one that. You beat the chest, yeah? I am a blessing. Now you go to now. You follow instruction. Yes. I am a blessing wherever I go. You see I repeated the chest, yeah? I am a blessing wherever I go. I am a blessing wherever I go. Here you go.
I am a blessing wherever I go. I am a blessing wherever I go.
Now the second one. That one is very clear, 100%. You are. Listen, keep clap.
You are
a
blessing wherever you go.
I was listening. Wherever you go, you are a blessing wherever you go. I am your friend, you are.
Oh my God. A blessing wherever you go. You are a blessing wherever you go. We are a blessing wherever.
We are a blessing. We are a blessing wherever we go. Okay, I'll put it. Right? We are a blessing wherever we go.
We are a blessing wherever we go.
Now we start from A to Z. Yes. Then from there we sit. Yeah.
I am a blessing wherever I go. I am a blessing wherever I go. You are a blessing wherever you go. You are a blessing wherever you go. We are a blessing wherever we go. We are a blessing wherever we go.
We can only be a blessing when we believe what? Values. Beginning with our community here and the one of the nation. So if you are a lecturer, ensure to become a blessing to your student. Do your best. They'll never forget you. If you are a student, be a blessing to your lecturers, to your parents. They'll never forget you. For me, I never forget my good teachers since in Nazareth. When I go home, I greet them. And the good students always, when I meet around, they follow me. Father, how are you? Yes. For me, I give them a little assignment. They know. Yes. So, but they are good. But those bad ones, sometimes they run away. When they see you coming, that they will exchange. So be a blessing. Do your best when you do the rest. Yeah? Yes. Just do because it is good. Now, is week 5. Is on ecology. I think it's ecological education. Though we are not here for academic seminar, but it's good to distinguish. When we speak of ecology and we speak of environment, these are two different things. So here the bishops are speaking of ecology. They are not speaking of environment. So environment can be a subset of ecology. So it means we are focused on that. It's more narrow. Maybe to understand more. The things which we need at some time. So ensure that we get to know that. Now here, what they are speaking of is climate justice. Is a strong global core. And it needs a really deep thinking because our society will wait for a solution from us. I'm saying the intellectual community, because the university is the cream of the society. Now here is the Messiah, I believe we are the cream of the whole of Messiah, the thinking tank of Messiah. So the challenge of ecology, the Messiah really expect a lot from us. And if you are not doing the best, then we are not helping them. So you have to do enough to ensure that we help them. And that's why they have given it from this country, the conference, Kenya, ecological education. Climate change is a strong global cause. Though I have a challenge when we speak of global cause, because once you research, like the COP, the one which was in Glasgow, one of the person was very, he spoke very passionately on how the third world countries, the way we are called the ones, contribute very minor, 0.2 to the global crisis, and yet we are going to plant trees as if we are the cause of the problem. But I don't think we are there. Yes, we may have just small, 0, but most of the global challenges is from the West. But for us, we are remaining at planting trees. Which trees are we planting? Well, the trees even are draining the whole ecological system of water, hydrosphere down. Then even the boreholes, they are drying. You are hearing the water table has gone down, but you are not researching on that. But because we are at the spiritual thing and being very spiritual, some of the trees we plant are the very ones which make these boreholes to dry. Like the eucalyptus, they are not so much friendly. But when we do the campaigning of planting trees, which type of trees are we telling them to plant? Because we may think we are solving a problem, but we are adding more
problems.
At least to help them to think in that way. It's I and you. So when we speak of ecological education, we must really know what we are talking about. If not, then we are not part of the problem, but part of the. We are not part of the solution, but part of the problem. So we have to think deeply. I said I'm not going deep into that because it's not an academic talk or workshop. It's a spiritual workshop. We call it spiritual business. Okay? So now, when we speak of climate justice, is may see it from our eyes. So now we have to protect protection and environment and appreciation that nature deserves care are matters of right, not simply a choice. And that's why even in our last graduation, there is a course which has started from environmental, specialization in environmental studies, bachelor. I'm not remembering the department, but at least it's there. So it means that it is no more a choice, but is a right, and right with the attached responsibility. So we have to protect. We ought to, if we were ready to survive, but we must know from which perspective we are dealing with it. And the last one here, it is climate change effects are seen in the unpredictable droughts, flooding, drying of rivers, and the swelling of lakes and the oceans. These are points I captured from the document of the which we are just about to launch it. Yeah? Unpredictable droughts, flooding, drying of rivers, swelling of lakes and oceans. Those are some of the effects. But to make you a bit higher to think about it, because we are going to die. I had one. I had a very serious discourse with one of the travelers who is used so much. He likes research. And it was challenging. Actually, I did it when I was doing my research before I graduated. He told me, Father, because my specialization is on environmental ethics, he told me, Father, in Dubai, if they want it at this time to rain, they can make it rain. He was, yeah, you telling the truth? I don't know, though, up to now I'm not believing because I'm not living in Dubai. Yeah? I don't know whether some of you it is true. He said that, Father, if they want today to rain this time for 3 hours in Dubai, the hub of the business world of the world, business hub, it will rain. Now, for me, I don't know the science. You people can maybe help me. But if they want it to rain, it will rain. And with fresh water. So, my question was, if they are able to make it rain, they can also make you to miss rain for them. Long time as they want it. Yes, if I want you to get a GMO with short fruits, I will starve you without rain for good 3 years. Then by force, you say, yeah, for sure, you have to adapt the GMO. Yes. Tuyache kayo kutuja kabetu. Climate change effects. It may be more than what we are seeing. And that this one comes to my awareness in the former when I said, I'm either in school being miseducated or I'm being educated. It's always what I'm asking myself. The philosophers perhaps they may, because the philosopher was asking himself when you are now, human life and the other lives of other living things are now at a great risk because of ecological challenges. Therefore, we are called to deeply reflect on the ways that ensure we stop destroying forests, logging, clearing bushes, dumping, misuse of agricultural chemicals and even biochemicals, and all other forms of environmental carelessness, which negatively impact human life and fuel strange diseases, is what we are called to during these 40 days of fasting. We ought to think in that line as academicians. Now, appropriate land use contributes immensely to food security too. Then, continued reflection and education on ways to ensure there's good what? Agriculture methods, including what? Seed production, food storage, distribution, and consumption for a healthy nation and bring down this discussion to the grassroots. It means that bringing it to the grassroots is to enable, like those we are saying, the areas which are affected by drought, like Lodwa, some parts of Isiolo, East Ngong, I don't know, that we do a research and teach those people to be able to manage that environment and see it as an opportunity and they improve it. If the Egyptians are making part of the Sahara Desert to be a forest, what is Lodwa when you compare with Sahara Desert? Huh? It means that if there is a will, we can make it. Isn't it? Yes. So this is a very significant problem if we think in a huge way. So simply this is what they are saying here. Grassroots. How do we make it reach a grassroots? Then I conclude. So those are the things we are to reflect on these 40 days. And for that, the graces of our Lenten campaign should be seen in the little actions we do through this period of prayer, fasting, and committing to acts of charity. Committing to acts of charity, this is where I underline my case. Committing. Which acts of charity? Is it giving a flower? Enough. Giving fish? Enough. We have to raise to a higher level. And we teach these people to be able to get that fish by themselves. As long as we are giving a handout to help them to depend on us more, then we are not doing any help to them. That's always has been my challenge. If we want them to help them, it's like you are with a student. If you are a lecturer as a, it means that at the end of the course, this student ought to have been able to stand, even to teach another one. But if not able to that, then there is a challenge. So the charity we are speaking of, committing acts of charity, we have really to think deeply if we want to help this one. It's only taking them to the using clothes. Thereafter, if you take them one flower, then what do they eat? Instead of perhaps you could put there as a community to go there and dig a borehole, teach them how to do the gardening. Which one is better? Because that one it requires an extra effort. So, may God continue to bless you with a spirit of reconciliation with self, with people around us, and with the environment. And as we reconcile and forgive you, dear people of God, forgive somebody does not mean that you have no right of revenge. You have the right of revenge. Eh? If you have done something wrong to me, it's my right to give back to you. Yes. Yeah. But now to forgive, it means that is a renunciation of your right of revenging for a higher good. And that's why it becomes restoration. If you don't renounce, then yet true forgiveness has not yet reached. So let us then really forgive. And we pray for the graces of our graces, yeah? To have that readiness to forgive. We are really need to forgive that we may have a healthy nation. Thank you so much. Before we launch the book, tell us about the brief summary of what our bishops want us to reflect on. Everything is for the days. So, with that, I really declare a Lenten campaign has been launched. Thank you so much for listening to me and making you so comfortable. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So now the procedure that is going to follow is to distribute those leaflets, then the message is unveiled, and in that way, I think the MC will guide us on that. They request the MC, and that one it goes with the seniority, one of the seniors, and then they give the black people.
So allow me call